Hey, what's going on, guys? Shelby here, and today we're back with another video. Now, today's video is by My Story Animated. I filmed a video worth $10 million. Now, I honestly don't know what video is worth $10 million. Just the Kardashian sex tape, probably? No, wait, that's already out. Yeah, it's already out. Kim Kardashian, she's already published that out. I don't know, the resurrection of Jesus Christ, something just on the line of so impossible that you have to see it on camera. I don't know. But we're going to find out what she filmed to get her $10 million. So let's get our headphones on and let's get watching.
She thought she was someone because she worked for a rich family. Man, life can be so unfair. I'm Avril, by the way, and I clean toilets for a living. But what can you do when your family is dirt poor and can't afford to let you finish high school?
Oof.
This was the only job I could get without doing something that would get me in trouble or affect my family. And yet, Marissa landed on this big job, and now she won't even acknowledge my existence. We used to be best friends. She comes from a poor family, too, but it's not like she'll acknowledge that. She doesn't even speak to her family anymore because she's too ashamed of them. The first time she came to the cafe I work in, I tried to hide, but she saw me and gave me the biggest smirk I've ever seen. I wanted to curl up and die. She even flicked her hair as she walked out. And then she started coming every day. At around 9:30, she'd march in with the two kids she looked after and order a whole bunch of stuff. And then, in a loud, fake voice, she'd say stuff like, "Oh, you little darlings, are you excited for Paris this weekend? I certainly am." So I did the next best thing. I spat in her coffee. And then I came up with a plan. I started watching her closely every time she came in.
Never
and
piss
got to
off
learn her little routine.
or waiters.
Every morning after her coffee,
food or
she'd go to the bathroom.
Spat on food.
It was always exactly at 10 a.m. And then I remembered she's diabetic and had to take her insulin. One morning at 9:50, after she'd ordered her coffee, I ran to the bathroom and started waxing and polishing the floor. I made sure it was super slippery, and then I quickly came out to watch. To my absolute horror, the little boy stood up and said he needed the toilet and asked Marissa to take him. No, this wasn't supposed to happen. They started walking towards the bathroom, and I went into full-blown panic mode. And then, thankfully, Marissa's phone started ringing, and she ran to get it, and the little boy shouted that he'd go into the boys' bathroom instead on his own. I was so relieved. I actually let out a proper sigh. I watched as the clock ticked towards 10, and then, like clockwork, Marissa got her insulin out her bag and went to the bathroom. Jackpot. Straight away, there was a huge crashing sound, and I almost jumped for joy. Hopefully, she'd have broken her legs, and then she couldn't work, right? I never wanted to see her smug face in this cafe
Hopefully she
again.
flipped over,
But
broke her
she
clavicle,
didn't break her legs.
wouldn't be able to
It
breathe
was
anymore.
much worse than
what
that.
the heck?
I ran in there, and she was lying flat
Oh, it
on
is
her
much
back,
worse.
completely unconscious. Oh, God. What if I'd killed her? The kids started screaming and asked me to call their mom, and then the boy gave me his phone.
That's so
Oh my
messed
gosh.
up.
The kids even
Like,
had
I
their
know
own
she's
phones?
a bit,
I called her and
but
asked
you
her to
can't
come
just
quick,
do that to people.
and then I called an ambulance. There was
Spitting
no
on her
one
food
else
was
in the
enough.
cafe. Even my manager was out running errands, so I quickly ran to Marissa's bag and dropped something inside. When the mom arrived, I couldn't believe it. She looked like a supermodel. She thanked me for calling her and asked if she could call Marissa's mom to let her know what had happened. Before I could even reply, she started digging through Marissa's bag, and that's when she found it. A bag of peanuts. The kids were allergic to peanuts, like majorly allergic. So I'd stuck a bag in there as part of my plan. The mom was horrified and asked the kids if they were okay. Then I asked what was wrong and said that Marissa always had peanuts and drank almond milk in her cappuccino every day.
I don't see the problem with
The
this.
mom gasped and grabbed her kids into a big hug.
She's not giving the kids
The ambulance
peanuts.
finally arrived, and the paramedics were shocked. They said they didn't know when she'd regain consciousness, and so I turned to the kid's mom and said, "Hey, I can look after the kids in the meantime if you want, just until Marissa is back on her feet."
Looking for a
And
new
you won't
babysitter?
believe it. The mom looked at me and said, "That girl is going nowhere near my kids ever again. She could have killed them with these peanuts." Okay,
She wasn't
when can we start?
force-feeding them to
Then
the
she
kids.
asked me if I had any experience with kids, and I showed her my portfolio. I'd printed a whole bunch of photos that I'd photoshopped of me and this fake family that I'd made up. She seemed impressed, but then she
Hold
suddenly
on.
looked confused.
Hold on. So you just happen to have a portfolio of photoshopped pictures of you and other kids on you at work. I'm starting to believe that this story's fake. I mean, part of the back of my mind is what video is worth $10 million, and it's just, and if we're being honest, what video? We're halfway to the video, and we haven't seen what she recorded for $10 million. Oh man, this is starting to hurt my head. This is starting to get ridiculous. Let's get back to it.
But why are you working in this cafe if you have all this experience? She asked. I told her my family owned the cafe, and then she relaxed a bit. Thank God she offered me the job, because when my manager came back, he fired me on the spot and said he could be sued because of me. But I told him I was about to quit anyway and said, "See you later, loser," as I skipped out of there. I was about to start a new life, and I couldn't wait. I started the very next day, and the minute I approached their house, I thought I was dreaming. It was huge. The kids actually seemed excited to see me, and that first day went well. I had to totally fake it until I made it, but it seemed to work. We hung out by their pool all day, and I taught them some basic swimming skills, and their mom was so impressed when she found out. Then one day, the mom asked me if I could join them on a weekend trip to Paris. Luckily, I'd applied for
You
my
nearly
passport
killed
as soon
someone
as I
that used to
started
be your
working
best
for them,
friend.
because I'd been waiting for
Take
this
her
magical
job,
moment.
get her fired,
So I
take her
decided
job.
to create a fake social media account. I had to
Oh my
document
gosh.
this. I was going to Paris, for goodness sake. After that, I made sure to wear lots of perfume. By the end of the trip, I had like 1,000 followers on social media. I always
That's a
filtered
lie.
out the kids, as I didn't want the family finding out I was pretending to be a rich girl. And then I felt like I'd won the lottery. When we got back from the trip, the mom asked me if
No
I'd
one
like to
gains
move
followers
in
that
with them.
fast.
I honestly almost hugged her. I asked if her husband would be okay with that, and she said, "Oh, he's always working, so he won't even notice." True, I thought. I'd never even met him. Anyway, when I moved in, I brought 3 suitcases. 2 were filled with old newspapers and stuff I'd found on the street. I didn't want them thinking I only had 1 suitcase of stuff. And my room was amazing.
Why would that
I had
matter?
a view of the whole city and my own balcony.
You could just say you're a
That
minimalist.
first night, I lay there pinching myself. How was this all real? The next day, I noticed my followers had almost tripled, and I had a message from a guy asking me if I was single. My heart started thumping, and I did something crazy. I told him I was going to have a house party that night, and did he want to come and bring some friends? The mom and kids were going to visit their grandma.
Why?
And she'd asked me to house sit. Of course, I said yes, and
Why
as soon
would you
as they
ruin
left,
it?
I messaged everyone I knew, including all my followers, and invited them to my party. I started snooping around in the dad's study and realized he was involved in some kind of illegal business. Interesting, I thought. And oh my God, the party was epic. There must have been at least 100 people there, and I even wore some of the mom's clothes so that I could look all fancy. The guy who asked if I was single came, and he was so hot. At around midnight, I asked everyone to leave in case the cops came, and everyone actually listened to me. No one had ever listened to me before like this. I asked the guy to stay behind,
this is fake.
and we started
It's completely
making out
fake.
on the
All right,
sofa.
hold on.
I felt like a
When you tell someone to invite a few friends to a party, I'm thinking 5 is the max that you could bring over, you know? He brought over 100 people! Oh, wow. And they all left? I'm sorry, Bucko, but no. That's not gonna happen. It's like, alright, everyone, that's it. Party's over. Everyone leave. Everyone out. They're not gonna be like, yeah, alright, okay, yeah, you're probably right. It's getting way past my curfew now. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go home and watch some anime, you know? Normal things I do. On the weekend. After a party. Oh, this is fake. This is fake. And still, majority way through the video, And we've not seen the video that she recorded that's worth 10 million. Get to it, please. I want to see this get rich quick scheme.
Total queen. Suddenly, though, we heard voices. I thought maybe someone had forgotten something, but then I realized it was a familiar voice. It was Marissa. What was she doing here? I quickly put my clothes back on, and me and the guy dived behind the sofa. Marissa wasn't alone. She was with a man. See, I told you something was going on. That girl your wife hired is a fraud. And look what she's done to your house. You better call the police. Aw, geez, she was with the dad. But why was she with the dad? And then I heard something disgusting. They were kissing. Thought I was not surprised.
Oh, gross.
I have seen them do worse things before, and I filmed them, but never showed the video to anyone. Stop. We can't do this anymore. What if my wife finds out? The dad said. And then you won't believe it. The mom and kids arrived. I was officially trapped. I was right by the door, and the kids saw me straight away. The mom started screaming at her husband and Marissa. They'd been caught red-handed. But so had I. I stood up, and the guy I was with ran out the door. Then Marissa started shouting at me, saying I'd given her brain damage. And then the mom was screaming at Marissa, and the little boy said, "Oh, I saw Daddy kissing Marissa lots of times before, Mommy." I thought I'd be in deep trouble about the party, and that they'd call the police. Marissa was shouting that I was a fraud, and even played a video of me that she'd got from the cafe, showing how I'd deliberately planted the peanuts and caused her accident. But the mom didn't care.
You
She
didn't
was more
delete the
horrified
video?
about what her child had said. But then her husband managed
You
to
said there were no
convince him
people
that
and no
nothing was
managers.
going on between him and
How-
Marissa, and he started blaming me for this mess.
How did you not
But
see the cameras?
just when he was about to fire me and
You
call the
weren't
police
there.
to come and arrest me, I told him that I need to talk to him on the side for a moment. When we went into a separate room, I tried to seduce him, but he wouldn't go for it, and he started yelling at me. But then I pulled
Why
out my
seduce?
phone and I showed him the tape I had.
You
from
already have the
Marissa.
evidence.
He was sweating as he looked at my screen. "How do you have this video?" he asked. I was in control now. I told him that if he tries to make any more moves on me, like calling the police, I would leave his wife no place to doubt that he was cheating on her. He started begging me not to do it, but then I told him, for $1 million, I won't. He quickly said no, but then I was like, you know what? Let's make it 10 million. He asked me if I was crazy, so I acted like I was about to send it. He realized that he can't refuse, and I left the house without getting punished for what I did, and knowing that $10 million will be waiting in my bank account tomorrow. I guess my message from this story would be that you shouldn't trust anyone. Just because they look or sound innocent doesn't mean they don't have a dark side.
I guess my message for this story is that I'm a scumbag. I nearly killed a girl and crippled her to the point where she needed to go to the hospital. And then took her job, got her fired, and had a party at my employer's house. And not to mention, not only that, just to really hammer home I'm a terrible person, I tried to seduce her husband, and when that didn't work, blackmailed him for $10 million. You are a scumbag. You are a legit scumbag. I don't see any redeeming qualities for you in this video. And you know what? You got $10 million out of it. This proves that just being nice barely gets you anywhere in life. If you want millions of dollars, just do what she does. I mean, it worked for the freaking Paul brothers. You know how much of a-holes they are. Oh God. There's so many terrible people out there in the world making millions while the honest people work their butts off. Man. All right, I'm gonna read the comment section, see what they say. Oh, apparently the title says, "I sold my soul for $10 million. No, you did not. You blackmailed someone for $10 million. You could have just started off when you got hired. But I guess that would have been a short video. You had to add so much detail into that. It didn't even matter. Moral of the story: break someone's leg to get their job. Marissa taunts harmlessly. Avery almost kills Marissa and frames her and gets her job. Or gets her fired. This woman is a terrible person. Alright. I think that's pretty much it for today's video. I believe that this story is fake because there were some plot holes in there that should be answered. It's just so stupid. And it's kind of rewarding bad behavior because I did all these terrible things and look at me, I'm a millionaire. Just, this is the freaking worst. Alright, that's it for today's video. If you guys want to see the original video, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. As always, if you have any reaction requests whatsoever, feel free to leave down in the comment section below. I'll try to get to it as fast as I can. And, yeah. Later.